What's going on, guys? Andrew here from What's Good in Wrestling, and the Women's Royal Rumble is right around the corner, and the Royal Rumble event is right around the corner. I'm so excited. I know you guys are excited as well. So let's get into who will win the WWE Women's Royal Rumble 2024. So if you guys are new, make sure to like and subscribe. I'd love to have you guys here. I'm going to be posting a ton of content, and it's Rumble week, so it's like Christmas, so I'm definitely going to be posting a ton. And I love you guys. Just want to say that. Thank you so much for the support. But let's get into who I think will win the Rumble. So the first name that I'm going to jump out here and just say right off the bat is Sasha Banks, aka Mercedes Moné. Now, if you watched a previous video that I posted talking about people that could potentially win the Royal Rumble returning to the company, I mentioned her, but I mentioned her as somebody that I didn't know if they could potentially win. The reason I say that is because I think she's probably still going to AEW, and there's an outside chance that she signs with AEW, but at the same time, it's very intriguing to see if she pops up at the Royal Rumble event, because it's not set in stone yet. From what we've been hearing, there's still an outside chance that she could return to the WWE. But I'm mentioning Sasha Banks first because even though she could return, I don't know if it would be her time. Then again, if she's returning, maybe they promise her a Royal Rumble win. I have no idea. But seeing her in this Rumble would be huge. It would just add to the event. It would be a massive return. And I would love to see it, to be completely honest with you. I think it would make a ton of sense. This Royal Rumble potentially could be one of the biggest pay-per-views and one of the biggest Rumbles we've had in a really long time, because on both the men's and the women's side, there's a lot of intrigue. There's a lot of people that could come back. And I think Sasha is definitely right in the mix of that. Now, at the time I'm recording this, maybe by the time you're watching this, she might have popped up in AEW already. So I do apologize if that's the case, but she would be really, really interesting. There's a lot of storylines to tie into there, of course, with Bayley, how Damage Control is treating Bayley. There's just so much that would be awesome to see in this match. So I really do hope that Sasha comes back and maybe potentially wins that Royal Rumble. Next up, Jade Cargill. Now, I've mentioned her in previous videos and how I think WWE is building her up behind the scenes and kind of what they've been saying on social media and, you know, presenting her a little bit on TV. They're presenting her to be a megastar, and that's fantastic, and I love it. But she eventually has to step into the ring, and she's been training at the dungeon with TJ and Natty, it seems like, and that's a great place for her. I mentioned that in my other video. But I want to see her finally enter the ring, and having her in the Royal Rumble would be huge. Having her step in there, get a chance to be in there with some of the best women wrestlers in the world, some of the best wrestlers, period, in the world, and getting to show off that star power that she has, it makes too much sense. Now, the only other side to this is you've brought in Jade, you've made her a big star, you've talked about how big she's going to be, and, you know, she's eventually going to be a champion, and we're bringing her in to dominate the women's division. But if she doesn't win, then she's lost her first match in the WWE. Now, I know it's a tough match to win, but you've built her up so much. Is it detrimental to what you want to do with her? So that's why I think there's a chance that she could win this Rumble, because if you're bringing her in, you want her to go in there, you want her to dominate, you want her to point at that sign and say, yeah, Jade Cargill is here now. This is the time for me to be here. This is the time for me to take that next step. And I guess that can make a lot of sense. I know there's a wrestler I'm going to name a little bit later, actually a couple that I'm going to mention later, that have big paths and big storylines that could lead to a Rumble win. I do believe that if you're going to have Jade in this match, you have to present her very strong. You have to have her eliminate like 10 people, and then you have to have like maybe Damage Control all build up and beat her and take her out, and that at least, you know, it looks like she was just taken out, and it couldn't be by one person. Everybody had to go after her and take her out. But if WWE's truly trying to present her as a megastar and somebody that they want to be the next face of the women's division, then you have to be careful, because maybe fans will look at her differently if she debuts in the WWE, doesn't have a strong showing in the Rumble, and ultimately doesn't win the match. So I think if Jade does enter this match, which I believe she will, she has to be a contender to win this Rumble. The third person I want to talk about is Liv Morgan. Now, I did mention in my other video that she's been away for a little bit, and of course she's dealt with some things outside of the ring, nothing too crazy, but nonetheless, I think WWE wants Liv to still be in that main event picture when it comes to the women's division, and the fans are always behind her. They love Liv Morgan. I love Liv Morgan. I think everybody does, and she's got the talent. She's put on great matches, and I think there's a lot of interesting storylines for her going forward. Now, the only problem is the last wrestler I'm going to mention has much more of a path to WrestleMania. There's more of a story there. So for Liv, while I do believe that she could win the Women's Royal Rumble, there might be a better chance for her to prove herself and make that lane for herself at the Elimination Chamber. But ultimately, they have to have her in the final four here. Hell, they might even have to have her in the final two or final three, depending on who's in there with her. She has a very good chance to win this Rumble. I want to see her do well. I want to see her in that main event picture. Liv Morgan, definitely one of the women that I believe could win the Royal Rumble. Last but certainly not least, the one that I believe everybody thinks has the best chance to win this Rumble, and that is your girl Bayley from Damage Control. But it's going to be soon to be from Damage Control, because I do believe you're going to see Damage Control turn on Bayley either right before the Rumble or in this Rumble. So there's probably going to be a storyline where you see Damage Control taking out everybody and beating Bayley up eventually, and then they're going to slowly get thrown out by Bayley. That's one option. But another thing that I was just thinking about was, imagine if Damage Control does toss Bayley out of the ring, and then that's how the story goes, and then somebody else wins the Rumble. I think there is a good chance of that happening, but I think Bayley winning the Rumble would be huge for her. Like, I feel like Bayley, even though she's done so much, she was a mega babyface and did amazing. She's done incredible as a heel. She's won a bunch of titles. I still feel like there's that missing piece of like, oh, like this is Bayley now. Like this is the reason why everybody knows that she's one of the best. But 2024 has to be the year where they just solidify that, yeah, like don't sleep on Bayley, man, because people have been sleeping on the fact that she is one of the biggest stars that WWE has produced in the women's division, and one of the biggest baby faces that they had at one point. And she's somebody that they could turn babyface and the crowd will get completely behind again, because they have the faction that she built that is more than likely multiple members will be in that Royal Rumble, and they're going to turn on her. And those wrestlers are not wrestlers that are just like filler people. Like we're talking Asuka, Kairi Sane, we're talking maybe Dakota Kai. I don't know if she's going to be healthy enough to get in there, but there's real big stars that are going to turn on her that are already big time heels, that once they start beating her up, they're going to get even bigger heel reactions. But Bayley is going to slowly start to get that face reaction because people have already started to feel bad for her. So this is going to be huge. And I think Bayley winning this Rumble and having that storyline going forward is going to make for great TV. It's going to be a massive storyline. But again, there is that outside chance that Damage Control throws her out of the ring, and that's how she gets closer. Like maybe she gets tossed over and then Io Sky comes out and swipes her feet out, and that's how she gets eliminated, and then that's how the story goes. But maybe the story is just that she wins the damn thing, and I think she's got the biggest chance. So let me know if I missed anybody. These are the women that I believe have the best chance. You know, I talked about an AJ Lee return in my other video, so make sure to go check that out. Maybe she's got a chance. I don't know. Maybe it won't happen. Maybe it will happen. But if you guys are new here, like this video, subscribe. I'd love to have you guys here. I love talking about wrestling and Rumble season, like I said before, and everybody says it. I seen a tweet on Twitter the other day, and that's why I said like the Christmas thing. It's literally like Christmas. So thank you guys so much. It's Rumble season. Let's go. Let's have fun together. I love and appreciate you guys. That's what's good in wrestling. I'm Andrew, and I'll see you in the next video.